And I am live here with the deconversion of Ellie Kole. Thank you for joining. We're going to talk about her experiences from the religious community and her transition over to becoming, and if I know your position correctly, an atheist, correct?
Correct.
Awesome.
That's
So
correct.
thanks for coming on. First, tell everyone about yourself.
Um, Ellie. And I don't know. I guess I'm not that interesting. I'm a musician. Um, that's I don't know. I was raised Catholic from the time I was a wee child. Um, and yeah, I just decided probably like late teen years that it wasn't for me. So I just decided to not
So
to not believe in it. That was the journey.
was it really that easy of a transition for you?
I mean, kind of. I guess. Sorry, I'm gonna like take one of my earphones off so I can. Probably this one a little bit better on my bald side. Um,
Oh,
I
dude, I love the shaved head sides. That is such a
thank you.
cool look.
Thank you. Appreciate it. I did it in the bathroom at work one day when I got bored because that's just me.
That's
Um,
awesome.
but yeah, so it wasn't necessarily that it was that easy. I think that it was just one of those situations that ended up kind of making itself known um over the course of my life. It's just not something that trying to think of a way to like explain. Like if you keep praying over and over and over and over and nothing happens, you kind of like end up in this situation where you're like, okay, well, if my prayers aren't getting answered, or if something doesn't seem all that logical and like nobody can really explain to me why certain things are the way they are,
Right.
or you know what I mean, like, so those ideologies that they like to place in front of you, and they
Hmm.
say like, oh, well, it's very clear that there's evidence for this because of XYZ that's written in some holy text, and it's like, all right, but like, what does it have to do with my life right now? You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
what is the famine, in 100 BC? Like, what does that have to do with my anxiety and depression? Like,
No,
nothing.
it doesn't. No, not at all.
So it's like, I don't know. I guess that from a very early age, I had a very hard time finding it relatable. I guess like I just don't think it's very relatable.
So,
Um,
would you say? So, for me, while I believed in God, I did. I never got into the like kneeling. I did it, but the singing and the kneeling never made sense to me. Is that
yeah,
kind of what you're saying?
it's even more than that. Like, it's just the all the concepts behind it. Like, do this so that what it is it's conditioning. That's what it
Right.
is. They're trying to condition you into believing or thinking a certain way. I feel the same way about school, honestly. I feel like school is so, like, it's just so like, oh, if you'll do well if you just follow the instructions.
Right.
And
They don't.
I don't think that you can live life based on a set of instructions. I think you kind of just have to
You have to experience it
you have to
very much.
experience it. Yeah, like, I
Yes.
mean, we talked about this very briefly, but like before we actually went live and did a podcast or anything, um, about how like mistakes are so inherent to the human experience, and just like basically like falling on your face so that you can learn how to do things better the next time. Like,
Right.
I
You
feel
need
like
to.
you need to be able to do that, and I feel like religion and like some of the, not all religion. I don't want to say that. I feel like if your thought process and your belief system really works for you, and I think if it makes you feel good about yourself and the life that you live, and it leads you toward positivity, I don't think
Right.
that can be a bad thing. That's
No,
not a
I
bad thing.
agree.
That's never a bad thing. So like,
No.
I feel like if you're Christian or you're Muslim, whatever it is that you practice, if that works for you, and you're not hurting anybody, then I don't care. Why care?
Yeah, exactly. And but
You
that's the
know,
important part. Not hurting
yeah,
anybody or not inflicting, your will against other people.
yeah. So that's the other thing, is just the will thing, and it all comes down to, how do you want how do you want to like perceive the world in front of you? And I just never felt like religion really did that for me. Like,
So then some would argue, playing devil's advocate here, that you were never a true believer if you haven't, like, quote, fallen to your knees and, felt God. Um,
but I mean, like, I guess they're right because I never really did feel God.
yes, to answer your question, KCA Randy, brand new Atheist to streaming. So yes, right now most people are watching it on Facebook or Twitch. Sorry, Ellie, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good. You're good. Yeah, it's just not something that I don't know. It's just not something that resonates. Ever resonated with me, to be honest. It was always really like, why am I doing this? Why do I have to? Well, and I started out in Catholic school too, so people, it was that like God was like everything in Catholic school,
Right.
and so it's just experiencing that and experiencing all of like we're constantly being educated about Jesus this, Jesus that.
Mhm.
It's just very like, it's so hard to articulate how exactly I feel about this or how this
It
happened.
can
That's
be.
why this I guess that's why this is such a good idea for me to be on here. But
So
yeah,
then take me back when you were a believer. Like how invested were you in
not at all. But that's just it. It's like I didn't get that far because my parents kind of gave me the opportunity to believe what I wanted, which thank God. Thank God. Oh my God, that's so weird.
I wasn't going to correct you.
I have to get myself. That's one thing I will say is like, and I feel like this isn't even just there's just a me thing. Like this is like an atheist across the board thing. I feel like because religion is so it's indoctrinated, right? Like I just mentioned that a little bit ago. It's indoctrinated, so you have a tendency to. It's kind of like the concept of heteronormativity, where like everybody's straight. It's like everybody's Christian and like everything's Christian. It like permeates everything. So
You're
if
right, though.
people say like OMG and like it means oh my God, and like they change gosh, like, and it's like no, that's not where it originated. Like let's be real.
Right, but
Like
it is something that I do try and get out of my speech, just because I do have friends that are like, "Wait, oh God, so you
yeah,
believe in
oh
God?"
God,
And I'm
yeah,
like,
oh
"No, no, I
God,
was
no, I
just
don't.
saying it."
Yeah, no, it's definitely something that I feel like I have to get myself out of doing, and now I'm more cognizant of it.
So someone asked me earlier what if atheists say bless you. And I was like, honestly, it's just such a part of life that I still say it.
Yeah,
Right, but I'm
no,
trying to stop. Like,
yeah, it's crazy when you start thinking about all the things that like well even morality. People like to have this conversation about morality coming from religion, and I don't necessarily think that it has to. I think that it
right.
does a lot of the time, but I think that once you kind of transcend the need for religion and you end up in this position where you're like, okay, like it is what it is, like there's nothing after we die or whatever, like it's fine. Once you get to that point, then it's just a little bit easier to comprehend everything, I suppose.
No, that makes sense. Are you able to talk closer to the mic?
I just saw the comment. I'm really sorry. I can't turn reasons. I'm just gonna like park myself right here. I'm just gonna like basically be eating the mic. But that's okay. You kind of have to do that. I should be used to doing that at this point.
Yeah, because you're a singer, right?
Yeah, because like when you're on stage, like you have to like put your mouth on it.
Right.
That's why like I don't like using the what do you call it, like the venue owned mics because I don't know like who's like had their mouth up all on it and
I'm the same way.
sip
Like,
on a Herbalades. Like you don't want that.
no, I would always bring my own mics.
Yeah, you have to
So,
bring your own mic.
yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So back to religion. How long were you how long did you go to Catholic school, or were you just raised in
I
a
so I went to Catholic school for I think I was like 8 or 9, and then when we moved, my parents were like, "Can I swear?"
Yeah, yeah, you can.
Okay. Yeah, my parents were like, yeah, fuck this place. We're gonna move to the suburbs because we were living in the city at the time." And
R-
pretty much like when you live in the city, oh, it's not that all public schools are bad, because that's not true. Like I don't want to say that, all public schools are bad to like anyone who who's watching is like, hey, like I went to Chicago public school. Like that's bullshit. I don't want to come off like I'm saying that, because not all Chicago public schools are bad, but the
Right.
ones that were in my particular area were just like not good. I mean, we're from the South Side. Like it's generally speaking, things are a little bit harder down there.
Mhm.
Um, like you either went to public school or you went to a Catholic school that was, it's private, and you went to church every Sunday, and like you did your communion every morning or whatever, and then you'd go to class and everyone wore uniforms, and it's just, but it was experiences. I feel like if you were out in the suburbs, I feel like suburban Catholic school is a little bit different. But yeah, in the city, I feel like it's almost expected that you went to a Catholic school. Like there's St.
Really?
Rita, and you've got Queen of Peace,
Okay.
these really, really prominent and I guess reputable schools that are in that area that a lot of people are familiar with. So I don't think that it's like abnormal. I think a lot of people in that area went to Catholic school at the probably still do. So
Did you
it's pretty common.
did you have any crazy stories from Catholic school?
No, not really. I mean, we had a priest that, ooh, I guess, I guess this is kind of a spicy story, but we did have a priest that, well,
I
he was
Point taken.
doing some not so good, not very priestly things. He was doing, yeah. So that kind of, I think, like at least my family as a whole, that was kind of like where we started to distance ourselves from the Catholic Church, because it was like, all right, well, you got priests that are, doing some dirty work,
Right.
and things with collection, and it was really bad. Like it was like scandal on the entire church.
Please
So
say this priest is serving jail time.
I have no idea. I actually have no idea. I'm not a viable source for this, because I wasn't really around when it happened. I had already moved away by the time that this news had broke. But we were already, at least my parents, they were like, yeah, we're kind of done with the church at this point, because they were raised Catholic as well. So basically we were Catholic, and then we weren't.
Right. So I
And then,
always
oh, go ahead, sorry.
no, I always try to put myself in the position, for instance, like something my friend Larry, the Christian, would ask. Would you say it was what happened with the priest that is that what got you away from God or pushed you towards becoming an atheist? Because I'm
No,
sure.
it was a combination of just like not being in the church anymore.
Okay.
Because at first it was like, well, this is kind of weird, because I'm part of the LGBT community as well, but it's like similar situation like that, where it's like, inside your heart what the truth is about yourself, but
Right.
you kind of just have to like hold it back from everybody else for a while, until you feel comfortable to be able to be like, this is what I am and this is what I believe. And it's similar to that. I feel like a lot of people have coming out stories, and maybe they find this relatable, where it's like, oh, like I knew I was gay the whole time, but like I couldn't. So it's not necessarily that like it was something that suddenly clicked or suddenly happened,
Mhm.
but it was more just like me questioning, like, I don't know if I really, like, do I really believe this? Like, is this, you know what I mean? And you
Right.
kind of come to your own conclusions like as you grow up. So it was a combination of that. I think what really did it for me, like what really got me away from it, was um once it's like I like grew up, and I went into college. I probably, like, I would say, declared myself as an atheist, I think probably as I was graduating high school. So like junior or senior year of high school, I like declare, like, I knew that I
And
was an
how
atheist.
how
Like,
long ago is that for
well, I'm
clarification's
24.
sake? Okay.
24. So it wasn't like that long ago, but it was pretty long ago, I guess.
Well,
I mean,
you've got to jump on me then too. You've been an
yeah.
atheist longer than I have.
I came out. He's saying that I came out probably, yeah, probably end of high school. So yeah, I guess, yeah, that was probably about the time that, okay. Yeah, so then after I graduated high school and I started college, I started dating this guy. And like I'm amicable with him, like amicable with him. Like I don't hate this person. Like I'm not sitting here like, I'm not like still pissed off about it.
Right.
But um I dated and was engaged to this person. It didn't work out. Long story short, his family is very, 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 very religious.
That
Like
many varies.
that many varies. Like they are, and again, like it works for them. It makes them happy. I'm not gonna poo poo it. It's none of my business
Right.
what somebody else's belief system is. But it was something that for me was like very foreign and very like I mean, in my opinion, it was restrictive, and I just like really wasn't a fan of it. And then when we broke up, well, while we were together, it was like he was kind of like, you need to like believe more because like this is the part of my family values, and if I don't have a fiance or a wife that's Christian like me, then like it's gonna cause problems. Like it's very clear
Oh,
that you're not about this and blah 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 blah. So like I kind of was like there was just like some tension where it was like
right.
you have to believe, 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 believe. And for a little bit, I was like, you know what? I think that I can find some healing in this. Like this isn't so bad. And I like tried to like myself into thinking that like that's who I was. So it's like I knew who I was, and then I didn't know who I was, and
Right.
then I was like, fuck this, fuck you. I hate everything about this. I'm out. Deuces. And that's that's basically how that played out. So it was just like I was extremely I was very fervent about my beliefs, and then I was fervent again, and now it's like now I'm like I've created a monster basically because I'm just like you don't support me and you don't you don't want to let me believe and do what I want to do, then you can get out, like bye.
Right.
And that's pretty much how my philosophy is now.
So
So
are you an outspoken? I mean, obviously you're outspoken because you're doing this, but like I constantly talk about atheism on my page everywhere. Where would you put yourself? Is that something you do,
it's
or is
this is gonna sound really hippy dippy and unfortunate, but it's kind of just like become a part of my being. Like if you know
you
okay,
got to clarify that one?
this so if you know me really well, you know a couple things about me like right off the bat.
Okay.
Ellie likes cats. Ellie likes food. Ellie does not like children and does not want children, and Ellie does not believe in God. So like
So it's on
those
your
are
top five.
those are the things. Yeah, like those are the things that like people I shouldn't say genuinely, generally just know about me, whether it's like right off the bat or after like having spoken with me for I don't know a couple hours.
Oh,
You generally like it's not something that I necessarily am like I'm an atheist. Like I like
right.
shout it to the whole
But
world.
it comes up in conversation.
But it comes up in conversation, and when people are like, "Oh, well, like I'm gonna pray for you," I'm like,
Thanks.
please don't, please don't.
See, I actually encourage it, and here's why. And I know this is sorry. I encourage specific prayer, and I know this will annoy a lot of atheists, but they say they communicate with God, right? Well, if God's in communication with them, pray for me that He will give you the evidence you need to show me to convince me. I think that's reasonable. So if
That is
they're
really reasonable.
because that's really all I want.
Yeah, I'm not even that nice about it, honestly. Like I don't know if you've ever been approached by missionaries in like a public setting. When it's at
No.
your house, like if a Jehovah's Witness comes to your door and it's at your house, it's a little bit different because you're like, all right, I'm gonna close the door now. But like when you're in public, it's a different situation because like you don't want to be an ass.
Right.
Like like you're trying to there's a fine line between like being respectful and saying what you believe and like defending your beliefs. There's usually a
Yes, I
fine
agree.
line there. And it's really hard because like okay, so I was in I was in the Woodfield Mall up in Schaumburg,
Okay.
and there were these young girls, they approached me and they're like, hey, and meanwhile, like, I'm on a lunch break from work and I'm just like, I'm moving. Like I need to get food, like I need to get back to my desk.
Right.
And so, I'm walking around and these girls, they approach me and they're like, oh, we're religion students. We want to talk to you about how you feel about the Bible. And me, being the fucking nerd that I am, I literally just, I think like, oh my God, like religion students, like college, like I was in the honors program. Like I did advanced religion and like advanced theological studies and
Oh,
advanced
wow.
philosophy. Like I can have a conversation about this. Like this is an intellectual opportunity right now. And so I'm like, yeah, of course. And so they're like, well, tell me how you feel about the Bible. Like, how do you feel about it as a whole? And I was like, well, I don't believe in it because I'm an atheist, but I'm open to talking about it.
And what was the reaction?
And they were like, oh, whoa.
It's an alien.
Yeah, like they just like couldn't believe it. They're like, oh my God, like that is so crazy. Tell us all about like how you could believe that. And I was like, well, tell me how you could believe what you believe.
Right. It's the same thing.
It's the same thing. It's the same concept. Like just because I don't believe that that anything exists, that doesn't mean that like, you know what I'm saying? Like everybody comes to their own beliefs in their own way. Like,
absolutely.
I can't explain to you like why I don't believe it, but I don't believe it. Like it's just, I just am not like, I'm not interested in it.
Right.
It's not something that I think about ever.
So real quick, I want to address this question from Dean.
Yeah.
What evidence would Ellie need to return to theism?
What evidence would I think in order to return to theism, in order to like actually believe that there's a God and that I believe that Jesus was a real person. Keeping it 100, Jesus was a real person. He was a real dude. He probably did have like legitimate humanitarian concerns and was like, all right, like this is my solution. Like
right.
I believe that Jesus's teachings are valid and that they're real. I feel like a lot of people bring that up as like, oh, well, what about Jesus? Well, I'm not saying Jesus wasn't real.
Right. It's just that he didn't have any supernatural abilities.
But he didn't have any supernatural abilities.
Right.
And because there is no, like, the thing that would bring me back is if, like, God literally descended from the heavens and was like, what's up? Here I am.
Right.
That is the only way that I would ever be like, oh, yeah, God's probably real. Like, that's...
You're same. I really don't see another way. See, and that's why it's important. Like I'll say, I don't know what evidence I need, but short of God coming down here, I don't know what else to say, or what else.
Gonna have to like perform like, or like if I said like I don't believe in God, or like strike me by lightning, and like I literally got struck with lightning. That's the only way. That's the only way that I would ever return to theism, and that's not That's not like a critique or like a bash on.
No, not at all.
Or theistic or polytheistic, whatever you want to do. Like, the point is like everybody should have the freedom to believe what they want, and that's what I fight for. Everybody should have the ability to like think and say what they want, provided that it's not causing undue harm to other people.
Well, right. And that's, I think, where people get frustrated with me when I am adamant about the separation of church and state, is they feel it's an attack on their rights. It's like, well, no, God shouldn't be in there to begin with.
Yeah,
because
no, it's not an attack on their rights.
Right. It's
if I don't believe in God, then why should my life be governed based on Christian principles?
Exactly.
That's inflicting on my rights.
Yes, but they don't see it like that.
What if I'm not Christian or atheist? What if I am like a part of like these smaller, different factions of religion that something completely different? Like there are people who like don't even believe in like in a religion, any of the Abrahamic faiths. They do their own thing and they have their own system of beliefs. And who are you to alienate those people? Leave them alone. Let everybody...
And one other thing I'd like to point out is, even if Jesus had supernatural abilities, that still doesn't mean he was God or has any relation to God. All that that would mean is we had a person with supernatural abilities.
Okay.
So there was, just so I'm understanding correctly, there was no incident, there was nothing that happened. It was just, hey, I don't believe. Now,
Yeah.
and after that, there are many atheists that struggle. So, for instance, there's the Recovering from Religion Foundation, because there are people who go through real depression, real anxiety, have nightmares over hell, even though they no longer believe it's real. Did you experience anything like that? Or was it just you were done and you were okay with it?
No, I don't. Yeah, I think I'm like that in most instances of my life. I kind of just make a decision and I have a belief and I go with it unless something proves me wrong. It's like I'm fully like, please prove me wrong. Like,
I'm the
I want to
same
be
way.
I want to be proven wrong. So like if you
Right.
have evidence to prove me wrong, then tell me I'm wrong. So yeah, I don't think that there was like a specific I don't think that there was an instance in which I like really lamented over not being Christian. It was just kind of like, sorry guys, I'm not interested. I don't like it. I don't want to do it anymore. And that was it.
That's pretty cool. And how's your family with it now?
My family is still like my dads are dads. You know what I mean? Like they
You're right.
still have like their ideation of how they want you to be and how they want you to feel. And I think that my parents are pretty much at terms with it, but there are times where they're like, what do you mean? Like you were raised Catholic, like you should feel this way about a certain situation. And it's like, no, sorry. And
See, I also like whenever someone finds out I've gone to Catholic school, their response is usually, "Oh, that's why." And I have nothing negative to say about my Catholic
you
school
don't have a
experience.
negative experience at all.
No, I literally out of high school, out of junior, I'm sorry, out of high school, grammar school, junior high at St. Andrews was my favorite. I met so many of my friends there, one of which is still my friend to this day. Um, yeah, I have nothing bad to say.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
but I am one of the fortunate ones.
Yeah, I think that I think that the thing that about Catholicism is that it's just it's very rigid.
Right.
But I wouldn't even think that, at least not for me, the rigidity it doesn't like make me, I don't know. When you're there, it kind of feels a little bit like culty. You know what I mean? Like you sit
Yes.
down, you stand up, you sit down, then you
It,
sing,
it's
then you
really
kneel,
weird.
then you stand up. Like it's kind of weird. Like having been to different kinds of churches and having been to like no secular society, it it's weird because like other churches, I feel like, well, let me just say this too. Like the other churches, like the like I don't know. I'm trying to think of like a way to explain it. Like the types of churches where they're like like those Lutheran churches, like those new school Lutheran churches, like you
Yes.
walk in and there's like a shitty rock band on stage and everyone's everyone's like clapping. Yeah, like I know you've been to a church like that where like you
Yes.
walk in and like I don't know, you've got like 5 or 6 members of the church that like they're the music people, and like, there's the one girl at the church that like thinks she's better than everybody. I'm going off on a little bit of a tangent,
I can tell.
but anyway, like there's always that, like the rock band and the and everyone's very like the pastor is like has a wife and he's like really chill and like down to
Yep.
earth, and like
And it
everyone
has a
has like
beard.
yeah, he has a beard and like those are like the stereotypical like Lutheran, I don't know, like non-traditional types of churches. And like
Right.
even those, I went to a lot of those when I was, because I had friends that were like in youth groups and stuff. And like, we'd hang out and it's like, well, I can't hang out today because I have to go to church, and it'd be like a fucking Monday. And like I want to hang out with my friends. So I'm like, all right, I'll go to church with you, whatever. I don't care. So I'd show up to these different churches and it was just weird. Like I was, because I was so used to the like up, down, sing, sit,
Right.
kneel versus, these other churches that were fun churches, and it's weird to me. I don't know. I just think it's weird. I just like the whole concept of religion to me. now it's just weird.
I feel the same. And it's like I never mean it disrespectfully. Like I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings, but at many times I just don't understand it. But I have this childlike curiosity. Like I just want to keep learning more. And I genuinely want to get to the truth wherever that leads. So
Yeah.
if it leads to a God, cool. I'm very open to that. But I have yet to see anything demonstrable that could demonstrate there is a God.
If people sometimes ever ask you this question where they say, so if you were to die and like you saw God at like the gates of heaven, like what would you say? Or like how would you apologize to him for having not believed in him this whole
I
time?
wouldn't apologize.
You're like, you know what I would say? I'd be like, hang on, I say to you, I friggin' asked you to show yourself, I don't know how many times,
Yep.
and you never did nothing. So how am I supposed to just sit here and idly believe it's something that you never showed proof for any of it. So
Right.
I feel bad.
It's like, yeah, that's I feel the same. I would be irritated. I'd be like, dude, I've been asking to see you forever. Like,
like
just show me.
Yeah. So I feel like a lot of people would say that we're agnostic because we're saying this, but
Yeah, they would, but I think that's mainly because they don't understand the definition of atheist.
yeah.
But I do got to ask you this. Would you consider yourself anti-theistic?
Ooh, that's a good question. No, only because, like I said, I feel like if you have a belief system that really works, I mean, my belief system works for me,
Right.
so I wouldn't want to deny another person of, finding a system that works for them. Um, so if I'm very like I'm very pluralist in that way. Like I don't give a fuck what anyone believes. I just want everyone to just fucking be nice to each other already.
Right,
Like
that's it. Just get along.
like
Respect each other.
and yet you don't need to have faith to respect other people, but if having faith makes you feel good about yourself and good about your life and good about what happens or whatever you think occurs,
Right.
then that's kumbaya, man. That's fair. That's how I look at things. But I do get really defensive when people say that my belief system isn't a valid way of thinking, or it's a damaging way of thinking. Like
Or unreasonable, or that
yeah,
you're just doing it because you want to sin.
yeah. Some people say like, oh, so you're an atheist. That means that worshiper.
Yes.
I don't believe in Satan either. I don't believe in God. I don't believe in Satan. I believe that either of those entities exist. So how could I be evil if I don't even believe in what it is you're accusing me of believing?
Right. It's also like, there's the Satanic Temple and the Church of Satan. I totally am going to mix these up right now. One of them, people assume they believe in actually Satan, but they don't. They're atheists, but they're using a religious standpoint, and they're going around and trying to get up structures that look like Satan to prove a message and show that, hey, either all of this stuff has to go up or it all has to come down.
Right.
And
Like either none of it's okay or it's all okay.
exactly. And I get that. And that's, although I won't go that far forward with it, I get what they're trying to do.
Yeah. Yeah. I was like that was something that the creators of South Park said. They said it's either all okay or none of it's okay.
Yeah.
But I agree. I think that I mean, you can't put up and erect all of these Christian symbols if you're not going to allow the same thing. You're not going to allow the same religious freedoms of people who are in the less favored group.
Exactly.
Because reality is as valid, while Christian beliefs are valid, satanic beliefs are also valid too. Like those people are allowed to believe that if they want to,
As long as they're not hurting
as they're
anybody.
not hurting anybody.
That's the key.
And a lot of people bet like a bunch of crazy people are going to call me a Satan worshiper for this, but the fact is like if you've actually read the Satanic Bible, a lot of the tendencies are very similar.
Aren't they similar to, I shouldn't say this, but have you ever read the secular humanism tenets?
No, I haven't. But so basically the 10 Commandments of like satanic worship,
Okay.
pretty much the same as the regular 10 Commandments.
Oh,
And
okay. Then they're nothing alike.
the bottom line is like in both, don't hurt people, don't judge people, be nice, and everything's gonna be great. Like those are I mean, they're worded different, and
Right.
the motive is different. That's the key, is that the motive is different in the 10 Commandments versus like the satanic
Hmm.
commandments. The satanic ones are very like self-serving, very much like about my happiness and my value and like individualism,
Right.
which is interesting because a lot of people in modern secular society have the same values, yet they will, you know, be discriminatory and stupid, and
Hmm.
they don't actually read anything about like these other religions that exist. Um, but yeah, they're really similar. So
That's crazy. I didn't
it's
know that.
funny to me. Yeah, it's really funny to me how like everyone's like, "Oh my god, like the Satanic Bible is so," and then it's like, "Okay, yeah, but you also all of those values." So I mean, like, yeah, like it's the Satanic Bible, but
Well, it's just a
you
word too.
yeah, like you're following the same exact values. So I mean, look in the mirror. If you
Hmm.
really don't follow those values, then if you think that it's so bad, I don't know. It's just weird.
Would you say being an outspoken atheist, does that impact your music in any way, or people following you in any way?
No, I don't really. We don't really. I mean, my band doesn't talk about religion. We don't talk about religion really ever. None of the music that really talks about religion, and
Okay.
none of the music that I write is religious at all. So there's no. It doesn't. I don't think it really. It's not. It was never really a part of the conversation, so I don't think it does or that it would.
Well, that's good.
May maybe some Paramore fans, maybe because Paramore was a. They were. I mean, they weren't like a Christian band, but they were a band with Christian values. So
Actually, I didn't know that.
yeah, I mean, again, like I like a lot of Christian music. I actually one of the Legends of Tomorrow bands that we were trying to start, the God's Great Dance Floor. Like that's a Christian tribute band
Oh, cool.
that I try to help them and do the marketing for. So
I
I'm
gotta
not
say,
against it. I'm not
when
against it. It's
when
my
you
take.
when you first messaged me and you're like, "Hey, I dig the atheist shit," I was like, so that threw me off because I always get it. I feel like it's always that awkward phase because there are times where people have messaged me and be like, "You're an atheist? I'm sorry, I can't be friends with you." And it's like, so I'm
That
always like,
happened to you?
yes. I
This is
had one girl after she saw like I had posted some goofy dance videos and a motivational thing. And she messages me and said, "I sent you a friend request. You're so positive." And I was like, "Oh, cool. This is awesome." 5 minutes later, "I'm unfriending you. I can't believe you're an atheist." I was like, "What did I do? I didn't do
yeah.
anything."
I would love for like a group of atheists to like go and do that to Christians or like Muslims or like just like other religious backgrounds. Like,
Right.
oh, sorry, I can't speak to you anymore. I didn't know that you were Christian until just now. Like it's just how could I
It
possibly?
wouldn't be acceptable the other way around.
It's just like I don't know. It's just so stupid. Like I don't know if I can be friends with you because you have red hair. Like
Right. It's the same
it's
thing.
like weird. I don't know. I guess I just don't understand things like that. I
No,
just
I agree.
I wasn't raised that way, and I wasn't like I around enough people that way. I That's actually never happened to me before.
Really?
I've never had somebody be like, "Oh, like fuck off. I don't want to be friends with you," or like I can't talk to you.
Wow.
But
Oh,
I mean, but it happens. I know that it happens. I've had more people be like people
that's
just say, "Oh,
crazy,
it's just
but
fake."
it's believable. I mean, I've heard some pretty horrific things from people coming out as atheists.
That's so crazy. I've never experienced that. I've experienced more from like having tattoos and like being loud and obnoxious
Right.
than I have about like being an atheist. I mean, like I've had family members be like, "Oh, I don't know if I like the way route that your life is going, or you know,
Right.
stuff like that. But I've never had a friend or somebody tell me that they couldn't hang out with me, like they couldn't talk to me anymore because I was an atheist. I did have a boyfriend's parent. This was like early high school. I think I was like a sophomore or junior.
Right.
And he was like, we need to talk about the fact that you're an atheist.
Uh-oh.
What is there to talk about? Like, you're not gonna convince me right now that God's
Right.
real. So don't even bother. Like, don't waste your time. Move on with your life. I'll just dump your son and it's fine. Just never have to speak of this ever again. I was like, why are we talking about this? Yeah, it was weird. And then we sat down to dinner afterward, and I was just like, this is like fucking bizarre. Like, who sits down and tries to convince? Like,
it's weird.
Let me tell you why why you need to believe in God. I'm gonna in right now in an hour, I'm gonna have you converted.
Yeah.
Like,
imagine if it was the other way around, though. Imagine you're like, oh, you believe in God. No, I'm gonna sit you down. Like,
we're gonna set things straight. That would be totally unacceptable.
Exactly.
People would lose their minds.
But it's hard for people to see it from the other perspective. Yeah.
People are crazy.
Yeah.
People is crazy.
So, I when you were talking about like what you've had Christian friends say, I recently had one say to me that they needed to. I had this friend Larry the Christian. He was the first one that like debated me on this topic, and I had this girl message me, and she's like, I'm worried about your soul. I need to talk to Larry. She's like, wait, what? And she's like, I really need to get in contact with Larry the Christian. I'm worried for your soul. I'm just like, all right, I'll talk to Larry and get back to you. Like, what do you say to that?
Yeah, I don't know how you. Don't worry about my soul, baby girl. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I try and look at it from their side and understand they are genuinely concerned. So
oh yeah, no, the fear is real. The fear
right.
is genuine. They're like, Ethan, you're gonna burn in eternal damnation. Like,
if you don't come to Jesus.
I'm concerned for your safety. I get it. Okay, I get it. I understand the fear. I just
yeah. See, I guess I can. I never actually felt that fear. I mean, I felt it for myself, but I never felt it for anyone else because it was just, I don't think I ever fully wrapped my mind around it. I mean, I was invested in believing in God, but there were many things I took issue with.
I definitely, because, you know, again, like, I'm not somebody who was like I never really bought into it to begin with. Like my 6-year-old self was like, you trying to tell me that this dude Sorry. I just thought of the fact that my band, we call God
Hey,
Sky
Ragnar.
Daddy.
Sorry.
We call God Sky Daddy sometimes.
I've heard that used many times.
So I was like, I was about to say Sky Daddy, and I thought of it, and I started laughing. So like, yeah, you're trying to tell me this Sky Daddy is out here looking for me, and he's looking out for my best interests, and he's, you know, making things happen, pulling the strings. I don't think so. No. It was just like, I just didn't buy into it. It's kind of like, well, this is gonna sound really diminutive and terrible, so I probably shouldn't say that. But
well, now I'm curious what you were gonna say.
It was kind of like, I mean, it's not the same gravity, but it's in the same camp in terms of like my childlike response to it was just like, I didn't believe in that shit from the very beginning. So like, I don't know. I'm not easily fooled.
Right. I agree. Same. At least not anymore.
Yeah.
So what is something you would like to convey to Christians out there as an atheist? Like one thing you'd want them to hear you say.
Which group of Christians? Because there's a couple different groups.
For sake of argument, you can pick.
Okay, I would say the ones that are like very judgy and the ones that generally speaking cause the most harm by being like that skirt is too short and like I don't know if so some lady commented on a post of ours and like I was wearing these shorts and
Mhm.
this lady commented and she's like her shorts are gross.
Uh,
Just like it's basically slut shaming me on like my own post, which is weird because like they weren't shorts. Like I definitely have some shorter shorts than the ones I was wearing. And like no, but they were nice. But like that like kind of like suit material, like polyester, I
oh,
guess.
okay.
And they were like they had like a zipper on the side. They were like businessy shorts. Like I don't know if you could wear shorts to like a professional place, like that's those type of shorts.
So they weren't bad.
They were nice. They weren't like some skanky shorts. It's not like I was like on stage wearing Daisy Dukes. Like I was literally in these shorts, whatever.
Mhm.
She's like, her shorts are gross. And then I click on her Facebook profile and she's like, this is my savior, like 11 dash whatever, like fucking Bible verses. And then she's like got all like I love President Trump, and I'm just like, oh, I went down a I
You
went
went
down a
down the
different
rabbit
road.
hole.
Yeah, I went down a different road that I was expecting. So I was like, all right, I'm anyway, going back to answering your question about what I want to say. Those would be the Christians that I'd want to talk to. I want to be like,
Just be nice.
but here's the thing: if you believe in following Jesus's teachings, that's all well and good. In fact, if you actually follow Jesus's teachings to the letter, this conversation wouldn't even be happening right now,
That's
because
an interesting point.
Jesus want judgment. He didn't want people to judge each other. He didn't
Right.
want he didn't want hate. He didn't want war. He didn't want like half of the shit that everyone is doing. He didn't want any of that. It's like while you're saying that you're Christian and you believe in the teachings of Jesus Christ our savior, then fucking how about actually live in his image like you say you want to,
Right.
and then come talk to me. First live in first live in his image and do everything he said to do and be a good fucking person and don't
Hmm.
judge and whatever.
Just be
And then
nice.
yeah, like what is the saying? Let the one without sin cast the first stone. Is that what
Hmm.
it is?
Yes.
Let ye without sin cast the first stone. That's what I would say. I would be like, you need to practice what you preach.
Yeah. I forgot to address this question from KCA Randy. Did you come out as gay and atheist at the same time?
I'm only half gay. I'm not full gay.
I
I do like men also. Um
Half gay. I've never heard that before.
yeah, I'm only half gay. Well, I say that because I feel like if you say that you're bi, people are like, "Oh, so you're just experimental." No, I'm half
That,
gay.
yeah.
Understand, I am half gay. There's no experimentation here. Like I'm I'm gay. I'm queer. No, but no, I didn't come out at the same time. I came out as bi my freshman year of high school. Did I come out at the same time? This is like a question I have to ask myself because did I? Did I really? I mean, I don't know. No, I don't think I did. I don't think I did. I think it was like I don't think it was for the same reason. Does that make
Okay.
sense? Like
Yeah.
it wasn't like, "Oh, I'm half gay and atheist." It was like I'm atheist and then a year or two goes by, also I'm half gay. Right? So it was staged out. Like
That's awesome.
I didn't do it all at once. I let my parents breathe for a little bit before they were like,
Well, good. They probably needed that
yeah,
gap
they
because
needed
that's a
that
lot
gap.
to process.
It's a lot. Well, and people act too like coming out gay is supposed to be so. I mean, and it is like widely accepted. It should be widely accepted, but
Absolutely.
at the same time, like sometimes people think that it's so easy to just be like, I'm gay, and like people are just gonna like accept it. That's not always the case. Like
Right.
sometimes you're like, I'm gay, and it takes the people that love you a second before they're like, okay, I got it. I got it. It makes
Right.
sense. I got it. It's cool. We're good. Like, I still love you. Like, they still love you. Like, or I should say, most
Mhm.
parents don't, and whatever, fuck them. But most parents are pretty supportive, and so I think at first, you do it, and then they're like, wow, that's a lot. And then after like a day or two, or even like sometimes a couple of months, for some people, it's just like, okay, it's good.
Yeah.
But yeah, you don't want to, take it easy on your parents. You don't want
Right.
to like, I'm an atheist. Also, I'm gay.
Yeah.
You don't want to do that. You don't want to do
No,
that.
that's a lot to process.
Yeah.
What else would you like people to know about you, Ellie?
Like I said, I'm pretty boring. I do music sometimes, so I have a
Yeah,
YouTube
that's not. I
channel.
don't think music's pretty boring.
I have a YouTube channel, and you can check out. I do covers, vocal covers. So
And where is that YouTube channel?
it is. You can find it. Well, it's hard because I don't have one of those custom URLs yet, which
Oh, okay.
blows. So you just have to search my name in the search bar. Yeah, I hate that. It sucks. You could just like buy your way into doing that because
I
it'd be way
agree.
easier.
Have you tried sharing it on Facebook and just been like, "Hey, please"? Because that's how
I
I got to 100.
Facebook sucks because they basically changed they I shouldn't I'm trying to think of a way to explain it. So basically the algorithm doesn't favor when you post links that are outside of Facebook.
Really?
Like, yeah, so like if you post it, that's why like for all of our videos, like all of our Fuel by Emo and all of my like personal videos, I'll
Mhm.
post them on Facebook and I'll post them on YouTube as well. Because if I don't post them on YouTube, on Facebook, and I post the YouTube link on Facebook, not as many people will see it.
Okay, so that's good to know. I didn't know
Yeah.
that. That is
Yeah.
helpful.
The algorithm Facebook's trying to like up their video game right now. So if you post your videos on Facebook as well, then it'll get seen by more people.
Okay, so then I should keep streaming to Facebook as well,
Yes,
directly through Facebook.
you should. Hmm.
Good to know.
Yep. Yep.
Thanks.
Just a little bit of content advice
I appreciate it.
and streaming advice, or I guess, well, YouTube and social media
Yeah,
advice.
I'm trying. I'm learning as I go. It's a lot.
It is a lot. It's a
Yeah.
full-time job.
I, I do not know how many hours I put in just this past week. And it's a lot of communication, messaging different people, talking. Like it's so
I
much
can never run
work.
a show, man. I really prefer just being in my office and filming myself. I could never stream. I could never do this. I'm
Yes,
just
you could.
so
You just did it though.
well, yeah, but I'm really, really awkward, and I take long pauses, and I'm just not. I'm not a host type. I'm more of like I'm gonna, come on air and fuck around type.
Oh, that makes sense. I wouldn't consider myself a host type. I'm just coming on and being me.
You ask good questions, so that's that's the good thing there.
Well, good.
But
Thanks.
I don't know what I would ask. I would just kind of sit there, and then I get off topic really easily. So
So do I. So that's okay.
oh, good, good.
That's why we're jamming. Cool. So people could check you out on Facebook and YouTube by searching Ellie Kole. Is there a song title of a song they could check out?
Well, I recently did a cover. I did a Circus Survive cover. I covered the difference between medicine and poison is the dose.
Mhm.
It's pretty fun. It was hard. I'm trying to get better about mixing and about presenting my vocals in the best way possible. It's
Okay.
now that we have all this downtime, it's pretty easy to do that. But yeah, I played around with that one for a really, really long time. Probably like 3 weeks I was working on that.
That's awesome.
So I try to put a lot of energy and time into the stuff that I'm doing because I feel like
Right.
if you're gonna do it, you should do it right.
No, I agree. And that's what I'm trying to do, but I'm also trying to just keep going like full speed ahead.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I just got over 200 subscribers. So I was like, yeah, baby, super cool. I know that's not much, but it's still working. So hopefully it keeps going.
Getting YouTube subs is hard.
Yes, it is. I have like 1,500 friends. I should have 1,500 likes.
Yeah,
or not likes.
Getting people to just like click the freaking button is just impossible.
It really is.
So.
But hey,
you got it though. You got it. doing your thing.
Even my ex-wife has subscribed to both my channels and goes in and likes all my videos. So
that's a win, right?
Yeah, hell yeah. So cool. Well, thanks for sitting down.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I hope it was a good convo.
Yeah, it was for sure.
And I'm glad we got to hear your deconversion story.
Sorry about the mic issue.
Oh, that's okay. I'm gonna have to go back and listen to it and see how quiet it sounded.
Yeah, well, maybe next time we'll have a different setup or something.
Yeah, that's cool. All right. Well, I am gonna end it. Everyone, thanks for tuning in. Ellie Kole, thank you so much. Please like, subscribe, and find her on Facebook and YouTube at Ellie Kole. Good night.
Thanks, guys. Bye.